Most folks mistake luck, talent, or even intelligence for success. But the real difference between someone who almost makes it and someone who actually wins boils down to one thing: discipline. Genuine, unshakable internal discipline, the kind that turns chaos into order, fear into focus, and pain into strength. That's what sets the winners apart. But here's a twist in today's world, where instant gratification, notifications, and comfort-seeking have become the norm. Discipline has now been redefined as rebellion. Let me start by drawing a contrast. Most people are prisoners of their cravings and impulses, but the disciplined individual, they forge mastery over desire. They control their urges, practice delayed gratification, and choose paths that others are too afraid to walk. As Niccolo Machiavelli famously said, "It is not titles that honor men, but men that honor titles." In simple terms, it's not the position that makes you powerful. It's the inner discipline that makes you deserving of that position. Discipline isn't about following rules for their own sake, nor about denying yourself happiness or fun. It's about harnessing power, transforming yourself into someone so focused, so steady that even when everything else is falling apart, your center remains unmoved. Now, picture this: what if I told you that in just 37 minutes, I could show you exactly how to develop that kind of discipline? Not just fleeting motivation or hot air, but deep-rooted discipline that comes from understanding how your mind, your emotions, and your actions all work together so you can take total control. In this video, I'll walk you through 6 core principles, each revealing a different aspect of discipline, and they're not some vague ideas. These are raw, honest, realistic truths you can implement immediately. Some principles might challenge you, some might stir discomfort, but all of them will set you free if you listen closely. Here's the reality: you won't master discipline in a day. But if you really absorb what I share here, you'll never fall for the same traps again. Once you understand the Machiavellian nature of discipline, you stop being a puppet to the world's whims and start bending reality to your will. Why trust this? Because history favors those who are disciplined. Think of Marcus Aurelius writing his meditations amidst chaos in wartime, Napoleon sleeping just a few hours a night to build his empire, or the modern soldiers fighting battles that are unseen but no less real. They all knew one thing: the person who truly conquers himself is the strongest warrior. Confucius once said that discipline isn't about perfection. It's about strength that's greater than your weakest excuse. It's not about always feeling motivated. It's about showing up even when you don't feel like it. It's not about fearlessness. It's about doing what must be done despite fear. When I see you watching this right now, it's clear that you're already different. You're hungry for more. You want to break the cycle of the same old patterns, reclaim control of your life. Here's the good news: you absolutely can, but only if you stay with me till the very end. I'll start with the foundation, your inner mindset, and then move into practical behaviors that make discipline feel almost automatic. This isn't about military discipline or punishing yourself. It's about cultivating a Machiavellian mindset, one rooted in power, patience, and control. You're not here to live a soft or weak life. You're here to live powerfully. And it all begins with mastering discipline. Before we jump in, make sure you like this video because I want to hear your thoughts along the way. Comment your affirmations, share this with someone who needs this mindset, and subscribe if you're looking for more brutal truths and wisdom. Each point I'll share builds on the last. If you skip even one, you miss the full transformation. So let me start by asking, drop this in the comments: I choose discipline over desire. Number 1. Discipline begins when you break your loyalty to comfort. Discipline isn't about just taking action. It's about making a decision, a firm choice to reject the comfort zone. Most folks think their biggest issue is laziness, but that's just a surface symptom. The real cause is that they're still in a relationship with their comfort zone. They believe that rest equals happiness, and avoiding stress is a form of self-love, when in fact, Machiavelli understood that the true wise person doesn't wait for comfort. They do what's necessary now before it becomes urgent. Procrastination isn't because you're weak. It's because your brain is conditioned to see discomfort as dangerous. Each time you wake up early, push yourself, or start something difficult, your mind resists because it's addicted to the short-term pleasure of comfort. So what's the solution? Create a new internal contract each time you feel discomfort. Tell yourself, this is my new home, I grow here. Because the truth is, growth happens in friction, not in ease. Every muscle, every skill, every dream only develops when you push through resistance. Here's a fact maybe no one tells you. Comfort is seductive and, quietly, it kills your potential. You won't realize it until years have passed wastefully. Machiavelli didn't believe in illusions. He believed that real growth isn't supposed to feel good, it's supposed to feel like war. And that's where you earn your self-respect. When you win battles over yourself, the world begins to respect you too. Here's how to start. Wake up when you say you will, without hitting snooze. Do something challenging daily, something that stretches your limits. Cut out one comfort behavior each week, whether it's scrolling endlessly through social media, indulging in junk food, or venting emotionally. Every time you choose discomfort intentionally, you reinforce your identity. You stop seeing yourself as a victim of mood swings and start becoming a master of willpower. Remember what Abraham Lincoln said, discipline is choosing between what you want now and what you want most. If control matters to you, you first have to break the chains of comfort. When you do what's hard, something inside shifts. You stop feeling lost, start controlling dopamine, and build something unshakable: discipline. And with that discipline, you become dangerous in the best way. Drop this in the comments. I choose growth. Number 2. The discipline of delayed victory. We live in a culture that loves quick wins and overnight success, but true discipline demands patience, mastery over the art of waiting. It's about delaying gratification, not because you're losing, but because you're preparing for something bigger. Machiavelli said, "The lion cannot protect himself from traps, nor the fox defend himself from wolves. One must be both." This means that discipline isn't just about doing the hard thing now, but having the emotional patience to keep going when the reward seems far away. Ask yourself, can you keep building when no one's noticing? Can you keep training when there's no applause? Can you plant seeds for months or even years, knowing you won't see the harvest immediately? This kind of discipline separates true power from weakness. Here's an emotional truth. A kid cries when they don't get what they want, but an adult builds in silence, trusting that time will prove them right. That's the spiritual aspect of delay. Resisting the urge for instant results makes you strong. When you chase quick fixes, you become fragile. The moment setbacks come, you crumble. But when you embrace delayed victory, you strengthen your willpower, you trust the process. Think of it like this. Fast success is built on hype, but lasting success is rooted in discipline. To train your mind, set long-term goals. Ask yourself, who can I become in 3 years, not in 3 weeks? Fall in love with the process. Discipline isn't about reaching the peak, it's about enjoying the climb. Measure effort, not just results. Did you show up today? That's your real win. And finally, stay off the scoreboard. Stop comparing yourself to others. Run your own race and let your consistency do the talking. Because, in Machiavellian truth, what people see now isn't what you really are. Only you know what you're building inside. Recall that time in your life when you gave up too soon. It was probably because you lacked patience or faith. Now's the moment to decide. I don't need it now. I just need to know it's coming. Drop this affirmation in the comments. I build with patience. Number 3. Control your emotions or be controlled. Imagine you've got plans, momentum, and then a single comment or doubt wrecks your whole day. One emotional wave hijacks your mind, and suddenly everything you've been working on is threatened. That's not laziness, that's a lack of emotional discipline. Machiavelli believed real power isn't about perfect circumstances. It's about mastering yourself, especially under pressure. Look at people who stay calm during chaos. That's where real discipline shines. Most are emotional slaves, reacting impulsively instead of acting intentionally. If you don't control your emotions, others will do it for you, and they'll manipulate you with anger, jealousy, or fear. That's why Machiavelli emphasized emotional neutrality. Stay calm when others lose it, because that's where true leadership begins. Let me share a quick story. A general once said, "I never let my enemies see me sweat. If they think I'm shaken, I've already lost half the war." In life, the same applies. If you argue with someone, they win if they pull you into chaos. If you get emotional, they control your reactions. Instead, train your emotional muscle. Here's how. First, pause before reacting. That 1-second pause helps you respond instead of just reacting. Second, name the emotion. This is anger, or this is fear, and detach from it, realizing you're not your feelings. Third, channel those emotions into action. Use pain to push harder in your workouts, anger to fuel your discipline, and fear to increase your preparation. Fourth, protect your emotional energy. Not everyone deserves a response, and not every situation needs your reaction. Think about your past. Have you ever snapped at someone out of emotion and regretted it? We all have. But from now on, understand that emotional control is the foundation of discipline. When you master this, your vision sharpens. You stay calm, calculating, and strategic. That's Machiavellian power in action. Remember the words of a wise leader: "I never let my enemies see me sweat." Be that person. Drop this in the comments: "I control my emotions." Number 4. The discipline of saying no. You can't master your life if you can't master your time. And you can't master your time if you aren't brave enough to say one word: no. We live in a world where everything is shiny and inviting. Yes to invites, yes to distractions, yes to whatever's easy. But real discipline is about refusal. Machiavelli warned that a ruler gains respect not by pleasing everyone, but by being either a true friend or a clear enemy. Being vague or always agreeing invites chaos, confusion, and weakness. Most people are overcommitted and under-disciplined. They say yes to everything, and that's why they feel overwhelmed and lost. Every yes to something trivial is a no to your growth. Every obligation you accept out of guilt steals your time, your most precious resource. The solution: develop the discipline of boundaries. Not soft ones, hard, clear, and unshakable. A true leader controls access. They create space for what really matters. To do this, start by saying no to 4 things. First, say no to draining people, those who constantly complain or drain your energy. Cut off or distance yourself from those who don't lift you. Second, say no to shallow pleasures, endless scrolling, junk food, mindless entertainment. Delay gratification, prioritize long-term rewards. Third, say no to overcommitting. You're not a machine. Stop trying to do everything, attend every event, or respond immediately to every message. Respect your time. Fourth, say no to old versions of yourself. Stop saying yes to habits or people that belong to your past. Burn the dead bridges. Don't let the old you hold you back. Reflect on your own life. Have you ever agreed to something and then regretted it? That's because you didn't have a clear no ready. Remember, discipline isn't about doing more. It's about doing less, but with focus. Your time is like your army. Don't send it into battles that don't serve your kingdom. Machiavelli said it's better to be feared than loved, and in your case, respect matters more than faint approval. When you say no with clarity, people might resist at first, but eventually, they'll respect your discipline and you'll respect yourself. Drop this affirmation: "I protect my time." Number 5. Discipline means moving without waiting for motivation. Waiting to feel inspired is the biggest trap. Most people only act when they're motivated, but that's weak. Machiavelli didn't rely on feelings. He trusted action. It's not titles or feelings that make a man honorable. It's consistently doing what's necessary, regardless of mood. Don't wait to feel ready. When you start acting despite your feelings, you become unstoppable because nothing can control you now. Motivation is fleeting. Discipline is divine. A man waiting for motivation is a slave to his moods, but a man who moves anyway, that's a king. He doesn't need to wait for the stars to align or for inspiration to hit. So how do you develop discipline without waiting for motivation? Here are 4 ways. First, tie your actions to your identity. Say, I am a writer, not I want to write. I train daily, not I should work out. Actions rooted in your identity become automatic. Second, create rituals, not routines. Rituals are sacred, your morning meditation as a prayer, your evening journal as a strategic war council. When actions matter that way, motivation becomes unnecessary. Third, make the decision once and stick to it. Successful people decide once. Today, I choose to work towards my goal, and then they follow through. The question isn't, am I inspired? It's, did I show up? Fourth, reward your execution, not your feelings. At the end of each day, ask, did I act today? That's your true measure of success, showing up every day, regardless of mood. When you live this way, you stop waiting, stop negotiating, and start leading. People will wonder how you manage to do so much with so little. The secret? Acting, regardless of how you feel. That's Machiavellian power. And finally, number 6, your pain is your training ground. You've been misled about pain. They told you it means something's wrong, or that you should numb it or run from it. But Machiavelli knew better. Pain, especially emotional or spiritual pain, isn't your enemy. It's your call to rise. Pain is the crucible that forges the strongest warriors. It's not punishment, it's preparation. Every great leader or icon was built in suffering. They didn't get strong because life was easy. They became disciplined because they endured what others avoided. Most people want transformation without pressure, growth without pain, change without chaos. But discipline isn't born in comfort. It's born in suffering we refuse to let break us. Think of that heartbreak, betrayal, or loss. It wasn't just a wound. It was a weapon forged just for you. That failure, just training in disguise. That humiliation, it sharpened your focus. That dark night, it whispered, if you survive this, you'll never be the same. Machiavelli understood that power and pain are intertwined. Power isn't wasted on those who avoid suffering, it's earned through it. The one who refuses to break, who turns pain into purpose, is the real force of nature. Wake up early because you've suffered enough to know it's worth it. Train harder because you've endured. Focus deeper because you've been broken but refuse to stay that way. Here's the truth. The most dangerous person isn't the one untouched by pain, it's the one who's been broken and chose to discipline that pain into fuel. You're not weak nor broken, you're being refined. The version of you forged in pain is the one who commands respect, commands rooms, and changes worlds. Right now, you're in your training ground. Maybe it's a quiet depression, loneliness, or just the heavy weight of responsibility that nobody sees. But this is your gym, your battlefield, your forge. Show up. Don't flinch, don't complain, don't run. Because if you do that every day, you will emerge unstoppable. Machiavelli believed the strongest leaders weren't handed power, they earned it through fire. Acting and then repenting is better than doing nothing out of fear. Don't waste your pain. Turn it into fuel. Use suffering as your sword and sadness as your strength. Drop this in the comments. My pain is my power. My suffering sharpens my discipline. Let's take a breath. You've just gone through 6 brutally honest, deep-seated lessons, each one pulling you closer to becoming an untouchable version of yourself. This isn't motivation, it's transformation. And it begins and ends with one word: discipline. Not superficial routines or quick hacks, but a deep, soul-rooted discipline that becomes your way of life. Discipline means building structure in your mind when chaos beckons, saying no to distractions so you can say yes to yourself, moving forward without waiting for motivation, owning your time like a king rules his kingdom, turning pain into power and showing up every single day. Niccolo Machiavelli never believed in weakness hidden behind kindness. He trusted strength built through awareness, self-control, and ruthless clarity. And now this energy is yours. The only thing I ask isn't the end. This 37-minute script is your spark. You need to turn that spark into a blazing fire. Because the world's a chaotic, noisy place full of doubt, distractions, and excuses, and it will try daily to pull you back into weakness. But if you remain committed, build the habits, hold your ground when it's tough, and choose discipline instead of ease, you will transform into someone rare. Someone powerful without needing to prove it. Someone respected without needing to speak constantly. Someone unstoppable not because you're perfect, but because you're consistent. Discipline isn't the goal. It's the foundation, the backbone of character, success, respect, and peace inside. Now I want you to make this pledge to yourself. Drop it in the comments. I live by discipline. I rise. I command. I endure. And if this message woke something up inside you, gave you truths you hadn't heard before, then do 3 things right now. Like this video, comment your affirmation, and share this with someone who needs to hear it. Because this world doesn't need more people chasing comfort, it needs real warriors, leaders, thinkers, and builders. It needs you. Be disciplined. Be awake, be ready, and never let your feelings dictate your fate again.